So how do you make her apply to be your girlfriend? I'm dating coach Hayley Quinn, and I know a huge stick point for the guys out there is that you may not have high enough standards for the women you date. What's the problem with this? Well, you can end up communicating like me, instead of actually building a genuine connection with her. Now remember, for the women of the world out there, it's going to be really important that she feels chosen because of something she's actually contributed to the interaction with you, rather than feeling that you just are desperate to have her in your life because you find her attractive. In this video today, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can develop better standards for the women that you date and use that to demonstrate to her that you're really selecting her based on how she's showing up on your dates, not just because she looks good on paper. Also, I'd love it if you could share in the comments below, have you ever fallen into the trap of trying too hard to please a woman? So as I said, my goal here today is really to get you out of that how do I keep her interested mindset and into how do I choose the best women to invest my time and energy into. So what's the first stage to having better standards for the women you date? Well, you have to start to know what you're looking for. If your wish list for women at the moment is that she's cute and seems nice, you're going to need to develop a clearer picture of what kind of characteristics you're looking for in a partner. This is designed to bring you more onto an equal playing field with her. Women usually have a really long wish list of stuff that they're looking out for in a guy. And because her process of attraction is just a bit slower than yours, she needs to see how you engage with her, how you behave, before she really feels sure she's attracted to you. You, on the other hand, might take one look at her and be like, boom, she's my type. But then if you go on to demonstrate that you've just chosen her based on her looks, it's not really going to communicate good enough standards about who you are as a guy. So how do you go about developing this idea of what personal qualities and behaviours you should be looking out for in a woman, particularly if you don't have that much dating experience at the moment? Well, luckily, there will be clues in other areas of your life. Can you think about some of your really close friends or people that you love to hang out with? How do they go about interacting with you? What qualities do they demonstrate that you really gel with? Is there something here that we can also borrow that you can start to look out for in your romantic relationships? Ideally, by having these standards and a clearer idea of what you're looking out for in terms of her personal qualities, it is about slowing down your process of how much you like her and not kind of putting her on a pedestal too soon, so that your process of growing attraction to her based on how you interact more clearly reflects how she's going to be feeling about you as well. So what's the next step you need to do to make her apply to be your girlfriend? Well, now you've got those ideas of what standards you like, the next thing you want to do is check out whether she meets some of those standards and whether things line up. And you figure this out through the conversations and interactions you have with her. For instance, if you know that you love going to festivals, if you'd really appreciate a woman who would go along for the ride, you could say, quick question, so I just have to check out, what are your feelings around mud? By asking questions like this on a date, you're showing that you're coming from a perspective of, my life is really awesome, I'm really happy with my life, and I'm actually interviewing you to see how much you would fit in with me as much as you're also doing that in return. It's about coming to a date like it's a level playing field instead of thinking, oh my gosh, how do I impress her? So think about how can you ask questions around the qualities that are really important to you. Could you say something like, okay, important question, be really honest. What's your worst quality? Could you, for instance, say, you know what, fitness is so important to me. I absolutely love getting out and about on the weekends. Are you the kind of person that likes just lounging around, watching some TV, or do you like to do fitness stuff as well? By constantly coming from this perspective of, I'm working out if you fit in with me, you're going to find that you have a clearer route and direction in the conversation, and that she also feels positively challenged by the conversation. She doesn't feel like you're there falling over yourself to be with her. She feels like if you do decide to move forwards with this dating experience, it's because you've built a genuine connection. The third part of building this genuine connection and demonstrating you have standards is to actually listen to her. So many guys out there race through the conversation because they're just kind of going through the motions rather than really engaging with her. You'll find this as you if you feel like you're running out of conversation all the time, you're constantly trying to think about questions to ask her, you don't feel that she asks any questions about you, that perhaps when she answers a question, your first thing is to think, okay, next question. So instead, on your conversations, I want you to really think about two things. First of all, I want you to understand the importance of sharing information about yourself. Remember, you have to be interesting as a person as well as just interested in her. By feeling comfortable to talk about things in your life that you're really passionate about and that you're into, whether that's sport, computer games, running your business part-time, again, you're coming from that space of high self-esteem where you're really proud of what's going on within your life. The other part of this is to really actively listen to her. Sometimes people communicate on lots of different levels. So it's not just the words that she's saying, it's how she's saying them that will give clues away as to who she is really as a person. If you're interested in this idea, then please click the link below where I have a whole video which teaches you about the power of active listening. Fourth thing I want you to think about is not over-giving on your dates. So often it will be the guy who tries to make the date last longer, who keeps buying rounds of drinks, who starts dropping into the conversation that his friend has a boat and you should totally check it out sometime. Be aware of when you're trying to overgive and when you're not really showing enough trust in yourself that you're good enough as you are. Steer away from trying to overly impress her with things like elaborate and fancy dates or offers of cool stuff you could do together. Ultimately, whilst that can be really fun, again, it shouldn't come from a place where that's offered to her on a platter. It should come from a place where you've built that connection and that's an experience you want to share. So if you frequently get to the end of a date and you feel like tired and bored because you've spent too long there, a bit broke because you've spent too much money, or you find yourself thinking, God, why did I mention about going away for the weekend? That was totally inappropriate. Notice when you're trying to overshare or overgive in order to impress her, and rein that stuff back in. Now, if you want to develop more of this high confidence male mindset and really understand how to make her apply to be your girlfriend instead of just trying to woo her and impress her, then I'd highly recommend you enroll in my free online mini training. You can find it at hayleyquinn.com/unite, and the link is just below this video. So my final step for you having better standards and not overgiving on your dates is simply to know that it's okay for you to walk away first. It's okay for you to end the date early. It's also okay for you to let an interaction go because you don't feel there's enough of a connection. If you're putting tons of effort and energy in and you're really getting nothing back, even if she looks like just your type on paper, this interaction is probably destined to make you feel frustrated and it's not going to feel rewarding. It's really important for you as a man to understand that not all dates have to have the same outcome. Just because you've got an attractive woman in front of you, it doesn't mean that you have to try and drive everything towards a relationship or some kind of physical contact. Instead, have better standards for yourself. Think, I only want to put myself out there to invest more time in this person, more energy, and to have that physical connection with a woman who I not only find really attractive, but who also has some of the personal qualities where I love hanging out with her as well. It's often also a lot easier to go out there and channel your energy, to go out and meet new women who are more aligned with you, rather than try and change some woman's mind who isn't putting the same level of effort and energy into your interactions. Anyway, I hope you've loved this video. If you want to hear more about how you can have higher standards as a man for dating, then head over to my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.